All right, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It's the TED Show Live, the Friday edition with Bobby Davidowitz. There he is, Bobby D.
Hope you guys can hear me. I'm supposed to talk really loud into this microphone.
Yeah, I hope he talks into the microphone. I hope you guys can hear. He is here from Exit, but he does so much more than Exit Realty. We became friends a couple of years ago, and he's got some amazing things that he's doing in the community. And so if you can't hear me, I hope you will post and let me know. I am trying to pay attention to that right now. I can't see the phone, but it should come up on here.
And check out, obviously, Teddy B's got the jacket.
You like the jacket today?
Look, nobody wears jackets like Teddy B. If you've ever met Teddy B, like I'm waiting for him to come out with his own line of clothes.
You know, what's funny is I actually reached out. Somebody reached out to me and said, is there any way that I can maybe provide you a jacket? So listen, I also like ice cream, wine. I mean, anything that you guys want to bring, let me know. And if you see anything on there, Bobby, since you're younger than me and for some reason this doesn't want to come up, oh yeah, I'm getting a couple of notifications. Just let me know if you guys can't hear us. That's really the most important thing. So, Bobby, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
Great to be on the Teddy B show.
On the Teddy B. And I call him Bobby. Do you guys remember that Whitney show, B and Bobby Brown, where they all said, Bobby, Bobby?
I love Bobby Brown. We actually had a lip sync contest at the Exit Realty Central office, and I did Bobby Brown, Every Little Step I Take.
Did you? Are you a dancer too?
I could do a little. I could cut a rug.
God, I wish we had more time. We'll have to video that and attach it.
We made sure nobody posted. Like Gil like tells us like nothing that happens in this lip sync contest.
Nice.
Can
You
be
didn't want to
posted.
see it? What did he do?
Well,
Gil Ramos is his partner, for lack of a better word, on the West Art District, and he works with him at Exit. Gil's the broker.
Yeah, I think this year Gil did like Flow Rider. Like he had these like muscles and he did this thing, but like last year he was like Beyonce, which was like really weird and awkward.
Gil Ramos was Beyonce.
Yeah, Gil, I'm sorry. Facebook Live, I put you out there, but we told everybody not to post anything, so it's fine.
I love it. So the first couple of things I want to talk about is the office first, before we get to West Art District. One of the things that you did is create a dad program, which I love because you're all about mentoring. If you look at Bobby's Facebook, you'll see that he mentors kids all over the place. I know he's very sports-minded. He loves kids, but I think taking that to the next level in the business side of his life, at Exit, he created a program called DAD. So why don't you tell them a little bit about what DAD is? Okay, so
DAD is actually Director of Agent Development. So this is a position, and I have everybody call me Dad, which is weird because everybody thinks I look really young. But you know, I'm gonna put it out there. You know, I'm 38, so I'm not that young.
You look good.
I've been right. You know, just keeping the skin right. But yeah, so Director of Agent Development is a really cool position. So we find that a lot of people, when they join brokerages, a lot of brokers just kind of let people fend for themselves. And at Exit, we always had a kind of a mentorship program, but it was a little bit looser as far as the system. Well, we created a position that where I actually run them through my program. I get them through their first 2 deals. And it's kind of cool because, you know, I can really empathize with those first 3 to 6 months in the industry, which are usually the toughest months, right? So, you know, they come into the industry, you know, they don't have the confidence, they're getting flooded with all this knowledge, and it's kind of my job to filter some of that stuff out and say, look, I know that the only way you're going to stay in this industry is if you start getting a check, right? Because you don't really get fired in real estate. You kind of fire yourself, right? So I've actually done this twice in my career. I started in mortgages myself about 15 years ago.
In the old days. You were 12.
In the old days when you could finance anything. And so I was able to start an 100% commission business at 22 years old. And then I did it again about 3 or 4 years ago with Exit Realty Central. So honestly, I love it. It's an honor. I love you know, elevating people, motivating people. As you know, Gil and I at the office are kind of a part of the Tony Robbins cult, as we like to say.
I love Tony Robbins though, but you guys have figured out a way to narrow it down and make it workable in your own office.
Absolutely. So I mean, look, Tony Robbins teaches some fundamentals, and mainly it's about mindset. You know, most people know what they have to do, but they don't do it because they self-sabotage.
Right.
And we self-sabotage because whether we know it or not, we tell ourselves certain stories about whether we deserve it, whether we're good enough, and we live by those stories. So really, most of the limitations that if you ever wanted to accomplish more or be more, it's really because you've told yourself that here was the limit. Right. And it's funny because we're going to talk about the West Art District, but that was a great symbol of something where we really reached past our ability. Like we basically threw our belief past our ability. Right. We believed that we could do it, even though we really didn't have the means at the moment. But you tend to rise to the occasion, right? So with all the people that come into our brokers, the new agents, I just try to, the main thing is working out the old stories. They're really not doing what they're supposed to do because they don't think they know enough or they're good enough. And I make sure that they understand that, look, I'm not going to let you screw something up, but I'm also not going to be an enabler either. Like I'm not going to do everything for you.
Right.
I want you to do some of this work on your own. I want you to work the muscle, because a lot of this stuff is common sense.
Well, how else will they learn if they don't work the muscle?
Exactly. So basically my philosophy with them, I tell them it's deals over everything, right? The best way to learn is through a deal.
Right.
So go find me a deal, right? Go talk to your sphere, or we'll come up with a bunch of ideas of how to, of prospecting. Like for instance, one of the agents the other day, we did this whole kind of what we call mindstorming. We just came up with 20 things we could do this weekend to get business, right? And one of the girls came up with garage sales. She's like, you figure if somebody's having a garage sale, they might be thinking about moving or whatever.
That's actually a great idea.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So what does she do? She goes out to a garage sale that weekend and gets a client. Not actually the person selling the home, but as she was talking to the person who was hosting the garage sale, another gentleman heard her, and they began the real estate conversation, and she just closed her first deal this past Friday.
What's cool about that's awesome. What's cool about that is that she probably was like, "Oh my God, I did it. Now what?" And that's where you come in.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And we actually at Exit have a kind of cool thing called sponsorship. So if you introduce anybody to any Exit franchise in the country, you will get 10% of the gross revenue that person brings in from the broker's cut, right? So, but the thing is, if you sponsor somebody, you don't ever really know if they're going to produce, right? So now, think about this. Now you can sponsor people and know that there's going to be somebody training them to produce.
Right.
So within the brokerage, you can actually have your own mini brokerage and have agents under you where you get 10% out of the broker's cut, and you're essentially building a team without having to train anybody.
But you all have done it so that it's more than just all about sales. It's about business, personal development, and you're really trying to build people up, which I love. And that's why I love the DAD program. I think any kind of mentorship in any business, it's not just real estate, any business needs, when you come in new and you've come out of that class and you're all gung-ho, you really can get crushed pretty quickly if you don't have somebody helping you along the way. Because what they teach you in class, nothing against any of my sales teachers or schools, but you only teach the basics. They pass the class. That doesn't mean that that's how you go out and get sales. So that's in any business, though. It's in anything we do. When teachers go teach in the classroom the first time, that's their first time going at it. They don't know what they're doing. Same as being a parent. Stacy and I had absolutely, oops, I just hit my mic. Stacy and I had absolutely no idea. We actually used to say, oh my God, they let us leave the hospital with our first daughter. When are they coming to get her? Because we didn't know any better. So that's really cool that you're able to mentor people and build people up.
I feel like real estate is one of those things. It's like if you can master real estate, you really can master life, right? Because I look at everything from, you told me I have a sports background. I have a sports background. I think if you play a sport, if you're in any industry, it's a chance for you to play life, right? Because the same principles apply.
Yes.
Whether it's the stories you tell yourself, the discipline, the hard work, and all these different things. And there's nothing more trying. I always have these football analogies because that's what I played, and I think when the stakes are higher, it's the closest to life. So in football, there's this really high stakes of like you could get hurt at any point. There's like this physical danger thing that's always looming in there,
right? And
you really get tested, because I'm not the biggest guy, so I used to play against monsters, and you really try yourself. You're like, what kind of person do I want to be here? I'm like, I really have to commit to this, or this guy's going to crush me.
Right.
Same thing with real estate, where it's 100% commission. I mean, essentially, you're butting up against the fact that you could be going broke soon.
Right.
That's a legitimate pressure.
On a weekly basis, you could be going broke.
Exactly. So, to me, if you can master the mentality of that and get through it, and get through your first deals and get that confidence, you can pretty much master anything.
Right. So tell us more. So we're going to segue into West Art District.
Yes.
So it's funny when I started seeing things on Facebook, and I'll let Bobby tell you the whole history, but I love anything that we do to revitalize the community, bring new things to the community, and West Art District is right in the middle of everything going on downtown and in District 5. That is District 5, right?
District 5, yep.
So, but it's such a unique concept, and we don't have anything like it in downtown. So I'll let Bobby tell you the history and how that all came to be while I check people's notes and what they're saying to me.
Yeah. Let me know if you can hear us. But so this is a really cool story. So talking about the Tony Robbins thing again. So early last year, Gil Ramos, we went to a Tony Robbins conference called Unleash the Power Within. And if you've ever been to a conference like this, I mean, you come out blazing on fire, like you're going to take over the world. Well, about 30 days after that, Gil and I decided to go look for an investment property in the Paramore area of West Downtown. A little $140,000 quadplex. And we drove around, and we knew about the major projects going on, like Creative Village and all these major projects going on down there. But as we drove around that part of town, we saw all these other cranes moving and all this other dirt moving, and we were like, well, what else is going on down here, So we had a contact in the area who's also in real estate, and we're like, let's go visit her and see what she thinks about what's happening here. And we spoke to her and we're like, what's going on? She's like, look, in a couple of months, you're not going to be able to find anything for a good price down here. Like, the secret's going to be out. Right. The Orlando City Stadium was still in the process of being built, but it was about to be done. The Amway bought the police department. They're building a $200 million entertainment complex. You have Creative Village. And then the thing that we saw that we didn't know about was the K-8 school. And so we spoke to her about this, and so we're like getting all jacked up because we're like, okay, we might have stumbled upon something here, So we simply said, hey, what's the best deal out here right now? And she literally pointed right across the street to this 2-acre, 45,000 square foot warehouse property that was vacant.
Which I didn't even know existed over you're
You know what? You've probably driven by it a million times and hadn't noticed it. Now you'll notice it because of the murals. But yeah, so immediately when Gil and I saw it, we were like, oh my God, like, what could this thing be? Like, it was funny because we started to get the same ideas without, we had never talked about anything like this, but we just said, man, this could be like this cool artsy entertainment type
Now,
district.
do you and Gil have a background in that? Is that why you...
You know what?
Like, how did you come to the vision of going, okay, this piece of property could be West Art District?
Well, I think in general, Gil and I are both guys that like to entertain, right? We like to have fun. Like
I believe.
Yeah, we like to have fun. We like to throw parties. I mean, if you know both of us, and actually, Gil's never been in entertainment, but he's a really creative guy. Very creative guy. So, me, myself, I actually come from part of entertainment background. I have a company called Fourth Court Entertainment. We do music publishing, licensing. I've done music. I've done video production. I've produced reality shows. I've done a lot of different stuff in the entertainment realm. So when it comes to
and yet you agreed to be on my show. That's very kind of you, Bobby. Very kind of you.
No, but so that background was in us, and it was just literally. I mean, if you go by this property, it has an energy. I mean, I don't know what you believe in, but sometimes the universe kind of leads you in a way. It was really like we felt an energy there, and we just started talking about what it could be, and we started talking about, well, we could have art galleries here, and we could have a brewery over here, and we can have a cool little organic coffee shop over here, and we could have a farmer's market going on back here. And it was like we started kind of envisioning this kind of hipster paradise that involved the arts, and involved music, that involved organic food, urban office space, and we just started putting this vision together. So this was just us looking at the property, and then Gil looks at me and says, we're putting a contract in on this property. And I don't know if you've ever worked with Gil, but he's one of those guys that's like has that. You ever heard about like Steve Jobs? He has that distortion field type of thing. Like he says it in a way
that Gil watching.
Yeah, Gil, if you're watching, that's the Gil Ramos distortion field. He got me because he looked at me and he's like, we're gonna put this thing in the contract and we're gonna buy it. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, but wait, we don't have the money. And he was like, not a big deal, we'll figure it out. And I was just like, man, this guy's faith is out of control. I'm like, we're just going to follow this.
That's exactly what it is. It was faith.
His faith. He just knew. He's like, we're going to figure it out.
That's awesome.
And sure enough, we put a contract in there, and then we spent, 4 months literally pitching that same arts and entertainment vision. We got a lot of tips from my buddy in Miami, Jason Glazer, if you're out there watching. Much love to you, man. So he's in Miami. He knows about a project called Wynwood down there, and many of you probably know that project. I don't know if you've been down there, Teddy.
I've not, but I know that project.
So basically, they did a similar thing. They went into a part of town that a lot of people had written off, and they started buying some different warehouse properties and started creating art galleries, breweries, and now it's one of the higher end places down there. We didn't necessarily want to do exactly the same thing, but we knew that art was a fundamental part of it.
It's awesome.
And so basically what happened was we finally got the money to buy it. And, we had somebody working with us at the time, and we kind of pitched the vision of, like, I told him, I say, hey, look, one day what I really want to do is get some artists together. I'd love to do this big event where we get artists from all over the city. Maybe we'll get Orlando Weekly involved. We'll get a bunch of people involved, and we'll get all the mural artists in the city, and we'll paint some walls. And he's like, yeah, I like that. And then literally like a week later, he calls me up. He's like, hey, there's some artists coming in from LA, Miami to come paint. And I was like, whoa, man. I was like, this is too. I was like, too soon. I was like, this was just an idea.
You weren't ready. It was just an idea.
I'm like, we're not ready. So, and I was like, all right, well, when they're gonna be here? And he's like, an hour. And I was like, okay. I was like, look, please just don't paint on the main street. You know, give them an interior alley wall or something. Let them paint a mural, whatever. So we let them do that, and it literally opened up the floodgates. In 30 days, all of our exterior walls were covered with
Let's talk about that for a second, because I had a few people message me when I tagged, and I'll get to your questions in a minute because there's some really good questions in here. When I tagged West Art District in there, I had a couple people go, isn't that the place with all the graffiti? So can you tell people about graffiti and mural and art and some of maybe the challenges, but you guys have figured out a way to work through it?
Yeah, this is the cool part of the story, and this goes back to just believing in something and following the vision. I couldn't ever imagine that it would have come to this. So graffiti just has a negative connotation to most people. Like, most people think that's like illegal art. You know, obviously amongst graffiti artists, it's not a big deal, right, but it is thought of as something that people do on buildings, and it's unwanted. So we started coming up with some new terms like aerosol art.
Aerosol art, I like it.
Okay, so aerosol art is something that we use, or murals and things like that, so that way people don't visualize it the wrong way. But of course there are laws against this kind of stuff, right?
Imagine that.
These code enforcement things that the city likes to do, I don't know. So you can imagine that after the whole building was covered with art, we were under code enforcement violation with the city. But it was kind of funny because we kind of, we didn't really know what we were doing. We just started this thing, and we asked forgiveness, not permission. And I think it worked out okay because I think there was so much grassroots support from the arts community, from people who loved art, and it's magical. Like, all races, all classes, everybody's connected by the arts, and people were driving by and they were like, dude, we'll support you in any way I can. What connections do you need? Blah, blah, blah. So including yourself, which you helped us out very much with the city. So we actually had a code enforcement hearing scheduled for April the 12th. We managed, with your help and others, to get a meeting April 11th with the city. They were actually very understanding. It was funny because Gil and I walked into this room. We thought we were going to meet with like 1 or 2 people, and it was like 5 or 6 people.
Oh no, because they had already heard about you by then.
Yeah. We were like, me and Gil sat down, and we're like in City Hall, and we're like, should we have brought more people? Like, we feel like totally outnumbered here. So, at first, the conversation was kind of, a little bit more dry. Like, they were kind of telling us, hey, we have this program already. Try to fit in this box, and get back with us. And we're like, well, hold on, let us tell you the vision first.
Correct.
So you can understand a little bit what we're trying to do. And as the more and more we told, you can tell the energy in the room kind of changed, and everybody kind of started to buy in a little bit more. And they said, oh, okay, well, if you can't fit into our mold, tell you what, why don't you propose something to us, right?
That's a great step. That means they're willing to listen.
Look, the mayor's office has been great. City Hall has been great. I think the entire city is yearning for something like this. I mean, I've been wanting to really make this an entertainment city for a long time. I told you I've been in the industry, and I think we're at a turning point. So basically what ended up happening was we went back and forth with the city, and we're on the verge, it's not final yet, but we're on the verge of getting a temporary use permit to be the only building in the city to have rotating mural art.
That's awesome.
Which means that they were good enough to to put faith in Gil and I to choose the art. I mean, obviously there's standards, but we have minimum standards of positivity, but in essence we can have people rotate the art all the time. So people come paint from all over the world, all over the country. They come in, there's people there doing photography, there's people there doing music videos, and so on and so forth.
Tell people where it is while I look up some of these questions.
Sure. So it is located at 1011 West Central Boulevard. That's 32805. That's on the corner of Westmoreland and Central. It's literally a block away from the New Orlando City Soccer Stadium. So we couldn't be in a better location.
We're all the growth, right? Because you can't see what we're looking at, but we're literally looking at it from here.
Yeah, we can see it from here.
All right, so there's a couple of questions. Any insight to potential tenants and businesses moving into West Art District? That's from Brittany. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany. How you doing? Any insight? Yeah, well, first call me. We're looking for people who are congruent with our vision. And we came up with kind of a vision statement that we're providing the canvas for creative arts, economic development, and social contribution, right? So we want businesses that are local. we want businesses that are progressive, that believe in the arts. You know, we don't want a business that's going to come in there and say, well, we want to put, you know, an auto place in here, whatever.
Right.
We're looking for art galleries, coffee shops, breweries, urban office space, places like Canvas that do entrepreneurship, you know, entrepreneurship hubs, farmers markets. We're going to be doing events all the time. Even a fitness wellness component. You know, we have this great back area where right now we actually have a nonprofit that trains kids from the street, mixed martial arts, which is freaking awesome. So we, you know, CrossFit, yoga, anything like that.
Is that exercise? Those are INGs. I don't do those. So
you don't do those?
No, I don't do INGs.
Yeah.
No action verbs.
No. You just shop for great jackets.
And drink. But occasionally, allegedly.
So if they fit in that vision,
that's cool.
Reach out to me, message me, call me, email me.
Okay, and then we have a question on financing. So what are some of the pitfalls of new agents starting out? Inventory, clientele. This is for you and your dad program.
Okay.
Real estate. We're switching back and forth, but that's good.
Fine. No, the challenge is most
that's
of the time.
That's Joe Rossi.
What's up, bud?
How you doing? What's up,
good,
man?
So the challenge is really when somebody
That was
comes
Lawrence, by the way. Lawrence doesn't know we're live. So that's the fun of this whole show, is that nobody knows. Go ahead.
Joe Rossi.
That was Joe Rossi that just asked.
Oh, awesome. I know Joe. So basically the main challenges with agents, I think, in the beginning is just the mindset, right? They think, I have to know everything before I start talking to people about real estate. And one of the things that our cult leader Tony talks about is that perfection is the lowest standard. And when he says that, what he means is like, if you have to be perfect, if you think you have to be perfect all the time, you'll guilt yourself into not doing it, or you'll try it, you won't be perfect, and you won't try it again. So I actually preach, go make some mistakes. You know, one thing Gil says is, I've taught you enough to be dangerous, now go be dangerous. You know,
right.
But at the same time, I tell them, I'm not going to let you screw anything up.
I was going to say, you're giving them at least some sort of a safety net.
Absolutely.
So if they fall the first couple of times, you're going to be there to help them.
Yeah, because all I'm really wanting them to do is make an appointment.
Right.
You know, I'm not asking them to go out there and try to guide through somebody. You just make a contact, make a connection, and bring them to the office. If you want me to sit in the appointment with you, I will. But I can often prep you right before that appointment, and you will serve your clients well. Matter of fact, you'll serve them even better because you're hungry. You know, that's what I tell them too. It's like, you have the best advantage right now. You know, everybody else is so busy with business, they let stuff fall through the cracks.
They do, you're right.
You're getting started. You're the hungriest you've ever been. You're going to serve these clients really well, whether they're finding a property or you're marketing to sell their property. And then I would say the other thing that people get bombarded with at the beginning is, you know, there's so much to learn, and they're trying to learn everything before they get started. So they're drinking through this fire hose, and I tell them, I'm like, look, go to all the trainings and do all that stuff, but try to find one nugget that you can apply now. Because if you take, I got to do all these 10 things, then you'll spend weeks and weeks, you know, I got to do my Facebook this, and I got to do my bio here. And
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, and often they're not dollar productive activities. Right. So I say, look, this is all good, and we're going to get to all that. But find a deal first. Let's bring it in, because you learn better if we learn through immersion training, right?
Correct.
So, guess what? You've never gone through the purchase contract? Well, when you have to submit an offer, I guarantee you will learn it in a half an hour. I guarantee you, because there's a check on the other side, right?
Right.
So I think those are the main challenges for new agents. That's it. They actually have business everywhere. They
but
just
it's also
don't feel
you
confident.
provide the safe environment, which is very critical.
Absolutely.
All right, Misty Cabinet says, "Dad, you rock." Misty's one of the new agents.
Yeah. I love you, Misty. She's one of the people in my office. I paid her to say that.
You paid her to say that?
Yeah.
And it's a little slow on updating all the comments. I'm trying to look. Hey, Teresa, my cousin said hi.
What's up?
Eddie Nichols says our city officials are the best.
Yes.
I agree. I think they are. Everybody downtown on any project we work on, like I just worked on the flag committee, and they were just so amazing to work with, and they really want the best for the city. All of the rest of the rigmarole that you hear is basically rigmarole. It's a lot of noise.
Yeah, the mayor did that State of the City address. I don't know if you were at that the other day.
I was not.
It's kind of like the State of the Union for the city. I was there, and just the mayor's very progressive. I mean, we want to be a fully sustainable city. He believes in the art districts. He believes in all that stuff, and that's what we need right now. I mean, I think we're in a time just in society in general where things need to be shaken up, and they have been. And it's time to be progressive and not just do things like we've been doing them for the sake of doing them.
Correct.
It's time to change things. Let's be more efficient. Let's open up some doors. And the art is going to have a huge impact on the city, and with even just the creativity that people start having. That's possible now?
Right.
What else is possible?
Right.
So,
and the space that you have just allows that to happen. It's going to allow it to happen. All right, I've got another question.
All right.
Hey, Jacqueline Clark. She wants to know if you're reaching out to surrounding neighborhood for input, working with African American Chamber to encourage women and minority-owned businesses.
Specifically, well, just being in the neighborhood and just adding that life and art to the neighborhood, we've actually attracted a lot of people from the community. So like I said, there's a nonprofit, that heard about us, and now we let them train in our parking lot. They like to train outside in the parking lot under those kind of conditions because it makes the kids tougher, and fight and stuff like that. We've talked to guys like Walter Hawkins, who's basically the liaison in the Paramore area. But specifically, we haven't. I mean, we've basically been so busy just trying to get, work with the city, but we welcome it. I want that's what we want to be a symbol of. So if you have connections in that, if we have connection with the entrepreneur, women entrepreneurs, minority entrepreneurs, that's the kind of stuff that we want there, and we want people that believe in giving back. That's the other part. So the social contribution part. So we want to have a model where people are like, hey, I'm not just coming in here just to have a business. I want to actually contribute to the surrounding community.
Correct.
Work with things like Paramore Kids Zone and stuff like that, and maybe even give a portion of the revenues that they bring in on our property to those
not excuse, but any kind of leeway to do what you're doing.
Sure.
So they definitely feel and know that you're on the right path, or at least the path that is conducive to what's going on in the rest of the downtown area.
Yeah, and they've been, like I said, the city's been great. But one thing we wanted to make clear too is that we're not trying to come into the Paramore. Paramore has an incredible history, and unfortunately, a lot of people have a certain a story about Paramore. But it's an incredible place with an incredible history, and we're not there to rewrite a new story. We're there to enhance the story that's already there.
Correct.
I mean, you can come to our property, you see this beautiful mural that says "Welcome to Paramore." We just want people to look at it in a different way and say, look, we're not the guys coming in here to push out the community. We're here to be inclusive. And we want to work with the community. We want to bring other people who feel the same way.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing there.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks, Kat. Looking good, guys. Great conversation. All right. Anything else you want to say? I'm just so happy you agreed to be here. Since Bobby's kind of a movie star, obviously you heard all that story. But it's so awesome to have you here. And the West Art District, please look it up on Facebook. That's where the page is. That's really where people should go for information.
/West Art District.
Look that up, and then look Bobby up. Bobby Davidowitz. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes,
it went very fast. I think we went past our 15 minutes.
I'm sure we did.
But you guys have been awesome. Thanks for all the great questions.
And Teddy, by the way, I did give a plug to him. Great mortgage broker, great guy to work with.
Oh, you're kind.
And honestly, I'm the kind of person, I work with great people, and he's obviously exudes a great energy. And one day I'll graduate to his kind of jackets. But I'm working on it. I did the purple. Just
You did good, right? You got purple. You got city soccer colors, man.
Shout out to Kay Rollins if you're out there.
I know. I'd love Kay to come on the show, by the way.
Yeah, Kay, come on the show.
Yeah. So thank you guys. And
thank you guys.
Now you get to see the crazy, awkward part, because my sweet producer / assistant / guru, Charnel, is at a reality star convention out at Celebration right now, and she was really worried this morning that I was going to mess up, which I probably did. But now you get to see me get up and walk and turn off Facebook Live.
Here, we want to do it?
Oh, yeah, you want to do it? Oh, yeah.
Hey guys,
Thanks, guys, so much. Appreciate you very much.